Bulavinaka, my name is Salote Handyside and I'm from the beautiful islands of Fiji. I work as a manager ground operations for the domestic carrier Fiji Link, and my role is primarily looking after the 9 domestic stations that we fly to domestically. And I lead the team of approximately 25 people. And our role is to look after the airport operations, airport and ground operations of the airline. I'm married. My husband also works for Fiji Airways as a senior manager looking after the global airports. We have 2 children. Our son is 26 years old. He lives in New Zealand. And we also have a grandson. We also have a 16-year-old daughter, and we've been living in Nadi for the past 30 years. I've done the NLP for leaders, and this was conducted right here in Nadi in November 2021. NLP is about it's a self-development program. I like to think of it in that sense, where I am able to learn more about myself and how my mind works and how I'm able to process things, how I respond to things. And the NLP itself has taught me that there are resourceful states that I'm able to access, and has taught me the skills and some techniques and tools that I'm able to access that able to better help me serve myself and others around me, my team, my family, and build better relationships through improved communications. Well, there were so many emotions, experiences that went through my mind, but one thing that I felt, and it was quite strong, was that it was quite liberating, in the sense that I was able to free myself of things that I thought that actually withheld me from progressing on behalf of the culture that I grew up in, the influences that have been on my life through work experiences, life experiences, and how I'm able to access again more resourceful states that has helped me respond to situations that I face in life. Even the training itself I found quite enjoyable, because it was like sitting at the edge of my seat. Every day I kept wanting to learn more and more about how is it that I'm able to become a better version of me. And one thing that I loved was self-mastery, because I'm able to be able to catch myself, and that's one thing I've learned. Catch myself when I have this, when I'm in a state where it's not going to do me any good, and I immediately change my state. I've learned that to be able to respond more effectively and become a better person. Definitely the communications model. One thing that this training has done, I think the communications model was like the emphasis or the basis, and out of it stemmed other topics within NLP. And understanding that everyone, for all of us, when we have an experience, we dilute, distort, and we generalize things. And depending on how we learn, whether we are visual or whether we are auditory or whether we are kinesthetic, because we are all different, then we respond to certain things. And certain things that we have, like the different programs that we run in our mind, and that determines how the physiological state that we respond to situations around us. And this can happen within minutes or within seconds. And understanding that, how when things happen, we delete, distort, generalize, then we filter it through our life experiences, through our belief, through our upbringing, the principles that we've grown up with, and then we respond. We make movies in our head, and how we're able to control these movies, and through the skills and the techniques that we have learned, and the outcome is the state that we find ourselves in. And sometimes it could be resourceful or sometimes unresourceful. The communication model is one that really that I loved. The other one is the presuppositions. And you know, these are just the understanding that we can, or the principles that base on the theory behind NLP and how we're able to relate it to everyday life. The other one is the anchoring, how we're able to change the state. You know, if I've had a state where it was not going to serve me any good, I'm able to change that. And that itself has been life-changing for me, because I've had some personal experiences. For example, I'm a cancer survivor, and certain things that trigger off an unresourceful state for me is a ringtone, because that would be, you know, when my doctor would call me and give me my medical results, you know. So I've learned to anchor a more resourceful state, so that it just takes me out of that situation. Or when I see visually an ambulance, you know, this would then trigger off something that is not quite good, you know. So I immediately catch myself and I put myself in a more pleasant situation. I mean, or maybe a state of mind. Well, definitely it's the perspectives, where we had to put on different sunglasses, and that's just understanding that we all look at life from our own maps of reality. You know, what I see, the different filters. Some of the sunglasses that we had lines running through, so we can only half see things, and some of it had orange lenses, so everything was nice and sunny. Some of it was dark blue, so you know, it was dark, you could barely see. So this gave me the understanding that we all look at things differently, and allowed me to be able to, when there's someone that shares their point of view, I respect it, and I try and look at it from their perspective. Again, it's perspectives, mostly on perspectives, because I'm able to become a better communicator. I work with teams, different types of teams, and mostly these are 20-year-olds, 25-year-olds, very young, and I've had to change and really unlearn and relearn things that I would be able to better relate with them, and being able to see things from their perspective, understanding few generation below me is quite challenging. My daughter teaches me a lot at home, and well, she's my biggest teacher, because I'm able to then take that into my workplace and be able to really understand where people are coming from. And another thing about this program is that about NLP is that it helps me to be a bit more flexible to people's perspectives, feedback as well, and also I'm able to become a better communicator, being able to ensure that any instructions or anything that I give out is very clear, or would I understand this if it was given to me. So that was something that really helped me with NLP. Neuro-linguistic programming, you know, the word itself is quite a mouthful, but then if you break it down, you know, neuro is about our mind and how our mind is programmed. Linguistic, of course, is the languages that we use. It could be verbal or non-verbal, and programming is how we have been conditioned right from when we were born, and the things that we think is the absolute truth, and how this training is able to then change the way that we look at things, the way that we have lived, the type of the thinking behind the thinking, that why do we think this way, and it just opens up our mind to be able to then realize that that I don't know it all, you know, that everything that I think is the absolute truth is not the truth. Or if I think that reality, there's no such thing as reality, because each one of us have respond to our own, from our own experiences, from our own beliefs. So I would share with them that this just helps me or helps them become a better communicator. And if they're leading, they'll be able to influence their teams. They'll be able to lead with integrity, because you are coming from a place of, you become very authentic. Because for me, myself, I find that I didn't have to pretend, you know, I didn't have to make things up, and it's okay for me to respond from how I really feel, and nobody really will judge me for that. So it has helped us in our communication. I think it's just taken it to a different level, another level. And one thing I find that we are more in agreement, especially when it comes to our daughter. You know, the decisions that we make. Previously, I would then go behind his back and say things to my daughter. You know, it would totally contradict the decisions that we've made. But now I'm more aligned, more in agreement. Our communications are very specific. You know, more, you know, we check in with one another. You know, if this is your understanding, there's more clarity. And one thing that I've noted is that my husband does not react very well to ambiguity, so I'm able to be very clear in whatever I say and what I want. And that has been a really big improvement. With regards to our daughter, she had to transition from accelerated pace learning, where it's completely different, to another school where she just started off this year. And I find that with NLP and the guidance that we both have given her has allowed her to transition quite well. You know, just encouraging her that, you know, that it's just words of encouragement every day, knowing that she has everything that she needs to be able to succeed, but and she has it within her. It's just how she's able to access it when she needs, and so that she's able to be successful. We did have a few challenging. The first 2-3 weeks was quite challenging, but now I think she's running up, waking up and running to school, and then we're able to assist her in this journey. One thing that I did as well at work is that, you know, the presuppositions, I was able to then every month I put up on our whiteboard, after I did the training, was the presupposition for the month. The first presupposition that I created awareness was, there is no failure, there's only feedback. Because I work in operations and we have a lot of people, customers, who have different points of view, and, you know, we get their feedback. So, you know, this is important for the team to understand that this is not failure. Getting all this feedback is not failure. It's only feedback. And I found that when I created that awareness, they were more open to feedback as well themselves, and they were more open to accept you know, whatever feedback that we receive. So, you know, and we keep driving it. So what happens is every morning we have briefings, and then I first of all, when it's the first or second of the month, I take them through it, explain it to them, and then the next few days I ask them, okay, so what do you have on behalf of this presupposition? So if you talk to any one of my team, they'll know the presupposition. And the other one is the communication, the feedback you receive is the communication you give, because, you know, communication in aviation, it's the single most contributor to failures, or not failures, but to issues that arise. So, you know, so I'm able to check in, they're able to check in with themselves. What did they say, or what instructions did they give? So it's really, so we've had 3 presuppositions so far.